Hello, everybody. This video is to inform you of an important decision that affects every member of St. John. At our recent annual meeting on January 8th, the congregation voted to change our Sunday worship time from 10:30 a.m. back to 10 a.m. And this goes into effect Sunday, February the 5th. Here's the story. This past summer, a few members of the church council at St. Paul's Lutheran over in Ironton joined us for one of our council meetings. They explained that the Episcopal priest who had been leading their Sunday worship services was no longer going to be available. And they further expressed their frustration over not finding pulpit supply pastors to lead worship. We too have experienced difficulty finding available pastors to fill in whenever I go on vacation. And so they asked if we would consider helping them out by allowing me to come over and lead Sunday worship at St. Paul. Their worship is later than ours. And at that same meeting, we agreed that regardless whether that would work out or not, we would like to share some joint worship opportunities and some fellowship activities between our congregations. In fact, this agreement led to St. Paul folks joining us for our Reformation service this past October and that delicious joint German potluck that took place after. Well, fast forward a few months. After a lot of thought and a lot of prayer, I let the council know that if St. John wanted to help out our sister congregation over in Ironton, I'd be willing to go over and lead their worship. Our council recognized that one day, we too might be in a similar situation as St. Paul. It would be a good and also a faithful gesture to reach out and help our neighbor. But in order to do the drive time between St. John and St. Paul, we would have to move our worship time back a half an hour to give me time to get there between the two services. Our service would then be at 10 a.m. St. Paul's worship begins at 11:30 a.m., giving me about a half hour to get between the two services. Many of you know how I drive, and I could probably make it in 10 minutes, but it's good to have that bumper time. Well, anyhow, it was decided that we should really bring this to the congregation to talk about and to vote upon, since it's a big decision. And so, at this past Sunday, at our annual meeting following worship, it was discussed and the motion made to change our worship time from 10:30 to 10, it was passed. And so, beginning Sunday, February 5th, we at St. John will be worshiping at 10 a.m. in the morning. And then I'm going to be traveling to St. Paul on the 2nd and the 4th Sundays of the month, which are our non-communion Sundays, in order to lead worship. Now, this is for a trial period to be reevaluated at the end of April, just to see how it's going. Now, while coming to worship a half hour earlier on Sunday, it might be easy enough for some of us. We on council recognize that it could also be a challenge to others of us, especially our families with children. At the meeting, one of our members pointed out that for families with children in sports who have games on Sundays, which happens pretty often nowadays, having an earlier worship time might give an opportunity to be able to come to worship before having to leave to make it to the game. We'll see. Now, as with any change, we will discover challenges as well as hidden benefits. And while we are encouraging everyone to give it a try, please give us feedback about your experience, about how it's going. We do feel this is the Holy Spirit bringing our two congregations together. But we also want to minimize any negative impact this might have on our St. John family. So finally, I'm asking you to put this to prayer, and we will do the same. God bless you. God be with you this week. Again, if you have any questions, please contact me, contact Rick Williams, or a member of our church council. My number, in case you've forgotten it, is 937-248-1371. A text gets a faster response than a message left, just to let you know. Again, God bless you all. I'll see you on Sunday.